Hello all and welcome to my channel InfoSec Geeks. This is Asad Ahmed and today I'm going to show you a very interesting vulnerability named Shellshock. So let me start with the intro and background. Navigating on my Chrome browser. So according to Wikipedia, Shellshock software bug. Shellshock, also known as Bashdoor, is a family of security bugs in the Unix bash shell, the first of which was disclosed on 24 September 2014. Shellshock could enable an attacker to cause bash to execute arbitrary commands and gain unauthorized access to many internet-facing services, such as web servers that uses bash to process requests. On 12 September 2014, Stefan Cheslas informed bash maintainers Chet Rame of his discovery of the original bug which he called Bashdoor. Working with security experts, he developed a patch fix for the issue, which by then had been assigned the vulnerability identifier CVE. The existence of the bug was announced to the public on 14/9/24 when bash updates with the fix were ready for distribution. The bug Cheslas discovered caused bash to unintentionally execute commands when the commands are concatenated to the end of function definitions stored in the values of environment variables. Within days of its publication, a variety of related vulnerabilities were discovered. Here you can see here different CVs. So attackers exploited Shellshock within hours of its initial disclosure by creating botnets of compromised computers to perform distributed denial of service attacks and vulnerability scanning. Security companies recorded millions of attacks and proofs related to the bug in the days following the disclosure. Because of the potential to compromise millions of unpatched systems, Shellshock was compared to the Heartbleed bug in its severity. So let's read some background. The Shellshock bug affects bash. So bash is a Unix shell and command language written by Brian Fox for the GNU project as a free software replacement for the Bourne shell. First released in 1989, it has been used as a default login shell for most Linux distributions. Okay, so a bash program that various Unix-based systems use to execute command lines and command scripts. It is often installed as the system's default command line interface. Analysis of the source code history of bash shows the bug was introduced on 5th of August 1989 and released in bash version 1.03 on 1st September 1989. So basically it's a privilege escalation vulnerability that offers a way for users of a system to execute commands that should be unavailable to them. This happens through bash functions export feature, whereby command script created in one running instance of bash can be shared with subordinate instances. Let me show you the man who the actual report of Stefan Cheslas. This is HackerOne, the #1 bug bounty platform in the world. So this bug was reported back in September 24th, 2014. Okay, GNU Born Again shell, bash Shellshock vulnerability. This is a timeline of this bug. GNU bash version 1.14 through 4.3 contain a flaw that processes commands placed after function definitions in the added environment variable, allowing remote attackers to execute arbitrary code via a crafted environment which enables network-based exploitation. So there are other links where we can read detail of this vulnerability. Let me show you another link. This is sort of some news. Says Stefan Cheslas, the man who found the web's most dangerous internet security bug. So it was a bug that lurked in software found on hundreds of millions of devices for 21 years, leaving them vulnerable to hackers who may have known of its existence. Now Stephanie Cheslas, an open source software developer living in Britain, is being hailed a hero by security experts and internet users for finding it and causing it to be fixed. Here you go, you can see the man behind Shellshock vulnerability. He's the researcher. Dubbed Shellshock, the bug was found by a 38-year-old Frenchman on the morning of September 12th. It was disclosed this week so it could be patched. Shellshock enables hackers to remotely exploit a vulnerability found in millions of computers, phones, and internet devices such as laptops, light bulbs, thermostats, and industrial control systems. Even Android phones and Mac laptops are affected. Apple put out a statement on Saturday saying it was working to put out a patch, but that the vast majority of Mac OS X users were not at risk by default unless they configured advanced services. Security experts are already calling its potential impact bigger and more dangerous than Heartbleed, a bug discovered in April. It has existed in the software since at least 1993 and gone unnoticed. This is very interesting. This line is very interesting. Hackers began exploiting it on Thursday, even using fast-moving worm viruses to scan the internet for vulnerable systems and then infect them, researchers said. Whether intelligence agencies or other knew of its existence remains unclear and is unlikely to be confirmed. But Ty Miller of Sydney firm Threat Intelligence noted reports that the US government allegedly knew about the Heartbleed vulnerability for many years before it was discovered. It would be amazed if governments have not known about and exploited systems with shell shock for years, he said. It was found in Bash shell, a common software component known as a shell in the open source Unix software used by millions of web servers, computers, phones, and other internet connecting devices. It allows hackers to take control of devices such as a web camera or web server and steal information from it, such as an image or credit card information. So this is all about this shell shock vulnerability, some history and background. Now I'm going to demonstrate this vulnerability in this video. So first step is opening my Chrome browser. I've already opened my browser and I have to visit google.com. It is already there, as you can see. Now you have to search user agent switcher for Chrome. It's basically it's an extension for Chrome browser. Through which you can switch different user agents. For visiting different websites. So I have already installed this extension in my browser. So now just watch me. But before proceeding further, I'm going to open this website. This could be our demo website for this demonstration. So first I'm going to right click here. This is Chrome user agent switcher. Right clicking on options. As you can see here, there are different categories, groups, like the one you can see Chrome, and we have a default user agent setting. Below that is an Internet Explorer and different versions, as you can see here, right? IE9, IE8, 7, 6, 10. So I'm going to create a new user agent like this one. Just copy this. I'm going to copy this custom message. Just paste it here. And the string, we have to paste it here. Name it Shellshock. Type it not applicable and just click add, and you are done. But I'm not going to add this user agent because I have already created, as you can see here, Shellshock, the name of this group, and several user agents. By the way, what I'm doing here, I'm actually injecting the bash command injections in user agent area. Okay, let me show you in a live website environment. So I'm going to click here. As you can see here, I'm going to click here, display custom message. And yes, as you can see here, this command has been executed on the remote server's bash shell, and the output is displayed on our screen. So the next step is I'm going to so in the next step I'm going to issue this command, current working directory, as you can normally type when you're working in Linux shell, pwd print working directory. Okay, let me show you Shellshock, and yes, we are currently in this directory, var ww live cgi-bin. Other command is list down files and directory. So I'm going to see the directory listing of this server. Normally you type ls command, right? Let me show you Shellshock ls. Yes, as you can see here, list of files and directories. And now let me show you the current date of that server. Current date. Yes, as you can see here, now we can see the current date of remote server. Now I have created different user agents. Let me issue ifconfig command on bash shell of the remote server. Yes, as you can see here, ifconfig, and we can see the interfaces of remote web server, ETS 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and the local IP address of that server. Here you can see I just issued this command ifconfig. Let's see the routing table. Clicking on Shellshock routing table, and yes, you can see here, right? This is kernel IP routing table. Next command is very interesting. we are going to see the user accounts of that machine, which is normally stored in etc directory name, and the file name is password. Let me open it. User accounts, and yes, as you can see here, etc password file has been opened, users and their accounts. Other command I'm going to issue is loadable kernel module lsmod. It is not working. Okay, now let's see the uname command, username of Unix name, uname, it says Linux. Okay, let me add something, -a, uname -a, and see Unix name. Yes, as you can see here, I'm getting extra details with -a switch. Okay, let's see the version of bash shell. Let's see the bash version details. And yes, the version is 3.1.17. As you can see here, he said in his report, which he reported, that bash version 1.14 through 4.3 are vulnerable, contains a flaw, right? So our version is 3.1.4, 3.1.17. Okay, now let's see the run level. Basically, Linux and Unix having different run level environments. We are running in run level 5. And let's see how long this server is up, live uptime. This command is not working. Okay, let's see the username, the whoami command, current user. Shellshock, current username, and yes, we are Apache. Our username is Apache currently. Shellshock. Now I'm going to ping. This ping command is also going to execute, and the output we will see on our web page. So I've issued bash-c ping google.com, and -c space 3 means that I'm issuing 3 ping requests and get 3 responses. Let me ping Google. Clicking on ping, you can see here, and we have 3 responses. You can see here. The next command is checking the install software packages. This is the command. the package hyphen get hyphen selections. Going to execute it. Oops, it's not working. Switching to another command, not working as well. So execute this install software package, first command, and yes, as you can see here, these are all the installed packages, I mean softwares on remote server. Let me search some interesting software like Netcat or NC. Let me search. Yes, as you can see here, the version 1.84 Netcat is available on this machine. Let me check if VNC is there, and yes, you can see VNC 4.1.1 is there. Let's see if Nmap is there. Yes, Nmap is also there. And other packages like curl, OpenSSH, Java, so very interesting. So next command is going to see the remote web server CPU details. Okay, this is the command bash-c ls CPU. Let me execute it using user agent CPU details 1, and it is not working. Going to execute CPU details 2, and yes, executed and printed the output on our web page. So we can see here that genuine Intel CPU family 15, Intel Celeron 2.8 gigahertz is running. Okay, basically this command has just executed instead of this. Okay, let's execute this command, user ID. And it is not working. Let's see the host info. This is basically the host file. Okay. This is proc status. Listing contents of Linux configuration. Hardware info, it is not working. Reading file contents, no. Switching back to normal, and this is our website default in the default form. So it took a lot of time to create this user agents with different command injections, strings. You can try as well. And these are the Google Docs which I use to find a vulnerable website to Shellshock. So that's all for this video. I hope you like this video.